Hi, everybody. Jonathan and Grace.
Yeah.
We're back again. And today we've got something that we really need to talk about, and that's really the elephant in the room, the white elephant in the room.
I never seen that white elephant before.
And it's not me, hey. I know you always think that I'm a bit of a gorilla, like an elephant size, but no, this is just a proverbial saying. It really means there's something that is not being said. That needs to be discussed. And when people look at us and listen to us on YouTube, they're going to wonder about this age difference. So we just thought we'd just kind of talk about it. We thought we're not going to talk about all the different aspects of the age difference. We just merely at this point, maybe a later stage, we can talk about the other aspects of the age gap. But this time we thought we'd talk about the society, the way the society views it. And obviously, Grace is going to give us some input. I did ask her to think about it. I'm not too sure what she's going to say. Um, but it's important because if you're thinking about dating a younger Filipino, if you're thinking about bringing it to America or going to stay in the Philippines, you need to think about these things. Okay. And perhaps a little bit more in more depth than what I did before I started this relationship with Grace. However, having said that, we're very happy and we want everybody to know that. And we hope that it's going to work, and we're working hard at making sure it works, aren't we? Are we? Are
Yeah.
we? Okay, good. All right, so from a society point of view in the Philippines, Grace, how do you think society in general views perhaps what you've done? You've gone and married a foreigner and somebody that is much older than what you are. What do you think they think?
In our culture, you know, I had so much difficulties before we married Jonathan. Some of them, they think about it. Oh, why did you marry not a younger man instead of older man? Because if you married a younger man, they had thinking of that in their mind that if you married a younger than older, then lots of money, and then and also the gap of age. That's the difficult that I faced before. And now it's not easy for me. I have challenges, you know, that some of my friends asking me, why do you marry Jonathan? He's older than me. So it's not, how can I answer to that bullies classmate that I that I faced before.
Well, that's why we discuss these matters, okay? And we've had some serious discussions even before we got married. I kind of laid out everything because I thought a lot about it. Because very similar to Grace, I had a situation where family, they said, "What are you doing? Are you crazy? Do you understand what the implications
Yeah.
are?" Friends in the society, they weren't happy. In fact, I can tell you an incident that while I was dating Grace, somebody in this community here, uh, he was quite elderly. He was 83, and he went and he, shocking the community, he married a Filipina, and they were quite upset about it. Why? Because of his age, and he went and married a young Filipino. Now, because I know these people, so I said, but she's not young, she's 76. But she was like 5, 6, 8 years younger than what he was at the time. And so they said, no, no, she's too young. But when you compare myself and Grace, it's like 40 years different, not 10 years. So you can understand where I'm living, because it's quite a seaside, remote, retirement type area, the kind of society issues I would have to face because I've gone and married somebody like 40 years younger than me. So if they were bothered about 10 years, can you imagine 40 years? So that put aside, we obviously see that there's an issue in the West, right? And personally, I would never marry somebody much younger than myself. Okay. Now that's my thinking. That was my thinking. I mean, when I first got married, it was 3 years. And I think 3 years is a nice gap between a man and a woman. 3 years.
Grace, wake up. Let's go home. Back to your
No,
country.
no, I'm just saying that was my thinking. That was just if somebody said to me, there's a should there be an age gap or not, I would say no. That was obviously before I met you, and unfortunately that's what happens when you meet somebody, and maybe in the beginning you could have stopped it and just walked away, but as you kind of get talking and falling in love and all these things, feelings and emotions start building up, you know you can't just walk away, or you feel that you don't want to walk away. You'd rather investigate and kind of see, can you make this work? And I think this is perhaps where we need to also speak to our people that are listening to us, is give them a bit of our background. You see, I met Grace through our ministry work. We're both Bible students, okay, and that's how we actually met. It's through having this kind of connection. We both studied the Bible. I mean, I've been studying the Bible, let's say 60 years now, Grace for 21 years. And so the reason why that actually plays a part in my psychology and my trying to balance everything out is because according to the Bible and the scriptures, we are supposed to live forever. Okay, so if you really believe in Bible prophecy, if you've done the study that we've done, both of us, because she believes the same way, that we're living in the last days, and that very soon now there's going to be, God's kingdom's going to bring about this huge change to this earth, and we're going to live on this earth forever. So therefore, based on that, you really have faith in what you have been studying and researching for decades and decades and decades, then you'd also have the kind of thinking that we have, that age really does not matter, in the sense that we hope to live forever. So therefore, say in 1,000,000,000 years' time, okay, I'm going to be 1,000,000,060, and you're going to be 1,000,000,020. But is that going to matter? So that's the logic. And that's maybe one way you can look at it. All right. However, having said that, let's break up a bit about what you were saying. Because you were saying that your classmates, were like a bit shocked. Because you could have gone for a younger person, couldn't you have? Okay. And of course, I was more concerned about your family because I had to win her family over. Because even her family were against it, in a sense. Not her parents. I mean, I think when I arrived there, I'm not too sure how much her parents actually really realized how serious this was. Because, or unless her father was just having me on. Because when I said to him, can I marry your daughter? He said, what? Why? Why would you want? Why? Isn't she too young? Like he was a bit, it looked to me like he was caught out. I thought he knew. I thought he was expecting this because this had been spoken about and planned. But just from his reaction, he wasn't. It looked anyway. Unless he was just playing along. I don't know. So, but on the whole, the parents, because you must remember in the Philippines, a person who's under, I think, the age of 23 has to be signed away by their parents in order to marry somebody. So it's not like the West, where at 18 you can go into a court and get married. You don't need the permission of your parents. In the Philippines, you do. I think up to the age of 23.
Yeah.
So I needed their backing, and they were good at doing that. But obviously, they also have to ask the other part of the family. And this is maybe for another blog we're going to discuss. When you're talking about winning over a Filipino, you got to win her over and her family, and that's quite intense. Eh? Tell me, explain to me your family. Were they all happy with when I pitched up there and wanted to marry you?
First time you talk to my parents, they wasn't happy. They feel insecure. They said, because I'm married. I'm gonna marry the old man.
Wow.
But later on, they accept Jonathan
Mm-hmm.
to be um my husband,
Mm-hmm.
and also after marriage, we got happiness forever, everlasting. So my parents, they don't worry about that because I married a good man, and he really cared for me.
Okay, yeah. So that's important, isn't it? It's kind of your thinking behind marrying somebody, whether they're young, whether they're old, no matter. I mean, if I could have this over again, I'd love to have Grace. Okay, I just wish she was like 50 years old, like this. Then it wouldn't look so difficult. Um, but how's that possible? That's not real, is it?
No,
It just happened. And but tell me, you've been living here within the society, okay, for what, nearly a year, all right? And we were in a way cancelled, eh? You know what cancelled means?
uh-uh,
You don't know what cancelled means?
no.
It means people were like avoiding us, you know? It's like that elephant in the room where they're not too sure what to think about it, what to say, whether to be seen with us or not. Right? And I mean, even we still get lots of stares. I mean, we go down to our local shop here, and they've seen us come in there, every day, every second day, and still, what happens? Well, they're still a bit shocked, eh? We
Yeah,
get all the eyes, we get all the looks.
yeah.
And
Maybe if we read what they thinking, maybe he'd say, "What the hell? You married a you married a younger woman. You are old now. What's the matter
I'm
of you?"
sure, yeah. So, but it is what it is, eh? Now that is here in the West, all right. Having said that, and how do you think in the Philippines? How does the general populace think about younger girls marrying foreigners, or even if it's not a foreigner, just another older Filipino man?
You know, some of them in Philippines, they think, they not agree that you married the older man, even you are Filipino or foreigner. But some of them, it's natural. At least you show love one another, and they feel when you um put the efforts that you really love your wife or husband.
Yeah, so like it's shown by your actions, eh?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so that's I think comes across quite a bit. I did notice though while I was there, and I was speaking to people, and this was the first time I went, and the people saw me walking around with you in your village, huh? And they were kind of shocked in many ways, and the elderly ones would say, "What are you doing? Like why are you going with her?" And I'll say, "No, that's my fiance." What? That they were shocked, and I had another elderly. In fact, one of the ladies that we stayed with, she was like probably my age, and she was saying like, "No, you can't do that." um, And because, they don't know what they want, she was trying to like tell me about young girls, how they are. Now, I can just tell you a little bit about Grace. In the 18 months I've known her, well, basically nearly 2 years from the initial time. But she's quite a bit older than what she in immaturity. So I would give her maybe 5 years on the age where she is now, maybe even more. So that has helped me a lot. Having said that, there's challenges, just like Grace said. She faces challenges being with an elderly guy because we are pretty conservative in our thinking and the things we do.
Yeah.
And if I think back when I was 20 and I married somebody that was 18, we were full of risk at that
Yeah.
time. And she was full of risk and I was full of risk, and we were just gung-ho and just doing this and doing that. And whereas, Grace probably wants to do those things. She just wants to go out there and just do things. Whereas because I've done these things and I've got the experience, I would say, no, listen, we can do that, but that is not going to work. So stay away from that. So that's a bit frustrating. I can understand why that's frustrating. I mean, when you're young, you just knock your head, don't you? You knock
Yeah.
your head, you make mistakes, you get up. And that kind of makes your marriage stronger in a way when
Yeah.
you have good times, bad times. Versus now, it's almost in a way Grace doesn't have any bad times. There isn't really any difficulties for her to kind of conquer. So we try to deal with that challenge, maybe give her some kind of a challenge. Or myself, not be so conservative and just let her run with some crazy idea and bump her head, not
Yeah.
not always come up with the proper way to do things, because it's not necessarily going to make your marriage better, is it? So there are challenges. I've got to learn from this, and Grace has got to also learn from this. But the good thing about it is we talk, don't we?
Yeah.
We talk it out, and that's important. All right, so putting that aside, the society is an issue. Okay, how do you think the society, after being here, say a year, is treated you? Have they come to terms with it? Do they treat you nicely? Because I see that you always like making like spring rolls for people and taking it to them, and they giving you stuff. So it looks
Yeah.
to me like they've changed their thinking.
I think first I came here, I think they not believe, they shock that Jonathan is married again, a younger woman. But later on, if you're showing the good action and good attitude that you have, yeah, they're gonna change their mind, and accept.
Yeah. So there's a lesson in that, eh? You've got to win people over.
Yeah.
You've got to win people over because you've gone and taken this action which is outside the kind of society norms. Right? And so, in a way, going to the Philippines, which is where we would like to go and be for a few years, uh, once we get organized. um, so that's something for you to work on, hey? So you can work hard on that. But I would think going there would be a little bit easier in the sense of the society accepting it.
Yeah.
So from a society point of view, as long as, like she says, the guy is treating you properly, um, you know, providing you with a future, and then all's good. All's good.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned to you, from a biblical, from a scriptural point of view. Now, looking at my age, coming on to 60, I can look only from a secular point of view, just from a practical point of view. I've got like 25 years of probably reasonably good health. So from a secular point of view, that's how I would gauge things. However, from a scriptural point of view, the fact that I believe I'm going to be living forever, okay, and basically, if I'm wrong about that, I've been wrong about my last 60 years of existence. So I'm putting all my eggs in that basket, in the scriptural one, where I'm looking at Bible prophecy, where we are at the time. But let's just say I was totally wrong. Let's just say biblically I was totally wrong. Therefore, we got to look at 25 years. If you add 25 years onto your age group now, you're still young enough to start life with perhaps somebody else again, if that's your choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I've given her all the scenarios. She knows it, she understands it, and that's basically, hopefully. Can you stop playing now? This is serious. It is a serious matter because when you marry, you expect to be married forever. And I know when I had my first marriage, I vowed, and that was it. And for 35 years, I thought that this was working, and then everything goes to pot. So the problem is in marriage, it's a contract between two people, and both have to buy into it, eh?
Yeah.
So that's why discussion between me and Grace is important. The person that you're going to be getting, they have to buy into whatever. If you're open and transparent about how you view things, how long you've got to live, um, that person can make the decision whether they're prepared to live with you, right? And to be your wife for that period. Obviously, like I've said, and I want to say it again, I intend to be with Grace forever. And that is what she believes, and that's what I believe. So that basically kind of sorts out the society point of view. And I hope everybody understands that. And if you don't, if you've got any questions, please comment below and ask us, and we can, sort out that maybe there's something I've missed, and I could have. But I can tell you what, before I made this decision, I had months and months knowing what I was going to be doing. And I know it was a very hard decision for me to make because, my mind, it's wrong. It's not practical. It's not this and that. However, when I started thinking about it and the emotions and, love and all the rest kicked in, well, then, grace happened. But there's other side of things, like the physical side, and we'll leave that for another day. We can discuss that. But just even on a practical, let's just think about on a practical thing. I'm 6'2", and I'm weigh 105 kgs, so I'm pretty big, pretty strong at this point. But the physical side is important because I know when Grace first came up to me running, she had a 200-meter run at me to jump in my arms, and I was quite taken aback by that. I wasn't expecting that leap. and she's quite heavy. and that's something, that's what I'm trying to the point I was trying to make. When I say heavy, I don't know how much you weigh, 55 kgs. But when you're not used to somebody jumping into your arms, maybe when I was 20, your wife would jump into your arms, you wouldn't think anything of it. But that's what I'm thinking about, an elderly person that's thinking about a younger Philippine. She's going to want to do these things. She's going to want to, want you to swing her around. Like, are you going to be able to handle that? When she jumps into your arms, it's quite something. Right now I can do it. But even so, sometimes I say, Grace, cool it, whoa, because it's you need physical strength. Okay, you need balance. You need everything. And sometimes because they're young, they just do things like whether it's a pull or this. So all I'm just thinking is if I was, say, not physically stable, or maybe if I'm later years and maybe 70 or 80, getting pulled off balance could be a big issue. And she won't think anything of it because, this is what you do when you're 21 and so on. So all I'm saying, that from the physical side, think about it serious. And then there's obviously other sides to it as well, which maybe we can discuss at a later stage. But I just thought, get this white elephant in the room out, okay? Grace is 21, I'm 59, and we're here to stay. We're going to live forever. We're going to be cool. We're going to be good. And we hope, we can take you along on this journey with us. And if we've got any things we want to discuss or things you're not sure of, and you're thinking of marrying a Filipina, and these little issues, how do you cope with them? Well, to be honest, I'm still learning. Yeah?
Yeah.
Every day, Grace surprises me with some crazy thing that happens, and I've got to, have a double take and just think about it before I say anything, because you're a different age group, okay? But at the same time, it brings a lot of goodness, because you start thinking younger, you start doing things all the time because you have to be active, which I think is a good thing. Sitting around, retiring on a bar stool somewhere, thinking that's life and that's how you should be, that's not going to be good for your health, okay? So having somebody younger, getting you up and about and have to do things and want to do things, and that's going to keep, her entertained. It's going to keep me physically strong, mentally strong as well. So all these issues are not such a bad thing, okay? Okay, well, anything would you like to say about, if anybody is watching, what are the things you got to watch out for if you're looking at somebody who's older than you?
Don't have comment about that.
You got no comment about
No.
that, You're just happy with what
Yeah.
you've got. That's a good thing. As long as you're happy with what you got, I think that's the main thing. As long as the girl is happy with what she's got, but talk it out with her first, because I don't think it can be anything worse than somebody who doesn't want to be with you. Okay. And there'll always be somebody that wants to be with you, isn't it?
Yeah.
So just find the right person, and that's the answer. But also look for somebody with the same kind of viewpoint, and that's, I think, the bit of the secret that me and Grace have got. It's quite unique that we both believe we're going to live forever. That is a big thing, because we don't think this is going to stop. This is just going to go on and on and on, and it's going to get better and better. And we can then plan with children and all the other things as well. Okay, so that is a good aspect. All right, so that's said and done. That elephant is out the room.
We're gonna change that later.
And yeah, we'll talk about other things. Tomorrow we're thinking of talking about, what was it?
Because living in Philippines.
The cost of living, but we don't live in the Philippines.
we need to be ready.
Oh yeah, Grace is just thinking about the Philippines. She can't wait to get there, guys. I mean, there's so many guys that are living there that they know the cost, so rather go to them. I can tell you about the cost of living in South Africa. If you want to know, I don't know if anybody's bothered, because I don't know if anyone's going to want to live in South Africa. So I can organize those costs. But what I can talk to you about is the cost of having a Filipino. Okay? Because she does come at a cost. Maybe that's a good idea for tomorrow. What cost? Hello? Hello? What cost to me is Grace? All right. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Please, though,
Subscribe,
thumbs up, or what's it like?
share,
comment,
push the notification bell.
Yeah.
And also please support us. Link our YouTube channel if you want to show my older videos, so you can go there and look.
Okay, yeah. So if you've heard Grace, because she mumbled that last bit, this is actually Grace's channel. Okay, so I don't have any access to it. I don't have any editing rights over it. I don't even know any passwords. This is her little thing. Obviously, it's ours because we're married. We won. But help her out. She wants to get to the Philippines. She wants to be back with her family, and we're gonna try and make that happen. All right, guys. Keep well.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.